and welcome back to another episode of the Business is Pleasure podcast. Is it the Business is Pleasure or Business is Pleasure? Business is Pleasure, right?
Not the.
Yeah. So welcome back to Business is Pleasure with your host, Johnnel Francis / the co-owner of Clarendon Trading Co. with my beautiful lady, even though she gets angry, she's still my baby, Colette, who is also the co-owner. See, I didn't forget that part this time. All right, babe? So, I was bothering Colette again today. As you guys know, I'm always bothering her. But it's because I like it. Because she's like so cute when she's a bit frustrated and angry and irritated with me. But I'm going to have to stop it a bit.
Yeah, you need to stop.
Yeah, she gets really frustrated, guys. And then it like breaks us apart. And I run back. Sorry, babe. I totally forgot I had him. But the way we all start the show is, how was your week?
My week is good. I started my new job.
Yes. Tell them about your new job. Tell them about it.
I teach out of college. So, yeah, that was fun. It was really nerve-wracking because well, not obviously, but I've never done that before. I've taught before, but not at a college level. So, yeah.
So you're one of those smart ones, eh? Are you stunned? That's a surprise you're not smart?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. That's what I'm
I just,
No, I ain't with no fool. You know that.
Okay. Well, it was fun. Yeah, it was really interesting. All my students are really nice. So, yeah. That was my week.
My week was actually the total opposite. I ended up quitting my job, which is crazy, guys. I literally quit my job like this morning, actually. Me and Colette woke up, and we've been talking about it for maybe like a year. And then like for the last like couple months or so, we've always considered it, but we just had to make sure it made sense financially for us. And the way Clarendon Co. has been going, shout out to you guys, man. Because if it wasn't for you guys, I don't think I would have even considered leaving my job. And I was able to like find the courage and just find the belief within us and like everything that we're doing Clarendon Co., where it just made sense for us to like really make that next step. So I'm really, really excited, a bit anxious of course, because it's a huge step, but I'm more happy than anything else.
I can tell.
Yeah. So
You're
like,
shining.
oh my gosh, trust me. My job before was really cool. I was a paralegal at an insurance company. Extremely boring, but if you're into that stuff, by all means do it. Now that I can focus on Clarendon Co. a lot more full time, I think we're gonna get a lot more out of the business, and we can also give a lot more as well. So that's what I'm really, really excited about.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got turned off the stove.
I would say in like cooking and working. I would say like in the last week, since you've kind of been off quitting your job, I have seen a big difference in like our sales have gone up. We've gotten a lot more content, a lot more engagement online. So it has made a huge difference even in the past like 5 days. So yeah, going forward, I think it's going to make a huge difference overall.
Yeah, and I think as a whole, it's just going to be like, it's going to show a real testament of consistency and volume. For us to like constantly be posting more pictures more, be posting more content more, the volume is going to be so much more, and so is the quantity, right? But we have to ensure we're doing that on a consistent basis. And that's one of the major things I just want to make sure you hold me accountable for, you know? Because like with you starting your new job and with you still having your part-time job, it might take a toll on you, but I still want you to be able to be like, hey Johnnel, like ensure that you're doing these things. Because the last thing I want is like let us down, you know what I mean? Because I think like for myself, I've always been the type of person, I don't care who's behind me, I'll still get whatever I need to get done, but having someone behind me just motivates me and pushes me so much further, you know? So to have you in my corner to be like, hey Johnnel, like I believe in you, I understand what you're doing, and I see the vision within this company, it means the world to me. And thank you so much for that. So much for that, you know? Guys, man, honestly, it's not necessarily always about a relationship, an intimate relationship, but find a relationship that like can be supportive for you.
Yeah.
And realistic, like, you know, like, cause I'm the type of person to just be like, oh yeah, I'm proud of you, and it's like bullshit. It's like authentic and genuine, you know?
Yeah. Like I'll tell you when you're messing up.
Yeah, and I think that's really, really important.
And you'll tell me too.
Yeah. But she doesn't like it when I tell her. So I try not.
But you still do.
Yeah. Something's wrong with me. Okay, but speaking of engagement and also getting a lot more followers over the last couple weeks, I think one of the major reasons why that's been able to occur has to do with our collaborations that we've been doing nowadays, right? It initially started a couple months ago. We were doing collaborations with an artist in Toronto, and they did an amazing job by showcasing our clothes, putting on their Instagram page, and then that like really sparked an idea within our head. Was like, why don't we just do this more often? Because we've heard about like working with influencers before in collaboration and how important that is, but I think with us at that time the money wasn't right. So for us to be like giving away free product was
hard.
Yeah, it was extremely hard.
Yeah.
So like I think we're now at a more comfortable point within the business where we have enough, where we're making enough money each month, where we can put a little money aside just for influencers, just for collaborations and marketing and things like that.
Yeah, and like you said, that's our marketing cost. Because prior to this, we didn't really have like a marketing budget, and now that we're like generating a lot more revenue, we have like money to set aside for actual marketing, and it's paying off. So I think it's working so far.
No, most definitely. One thing with the influencers, what I want to see us doing though, because like we're kind of realizing what influencers to work with in terms of like the styles and stuff, and then I want to more so do it by like region, like you know, like we have American influencers. I would ideally think they most have an American market, and then we would have like European influencers who do that European market as well. So I wanted us to get to a point where we're like so systematic that we know which regions are going to be targeted by which influencers and everything.
And also, with saying that, I think we should have different influencers on different platforms too.
I didn't even think about that. That's so smart.
Yeah, because right now
I told you guys.
Because right now we're just focused on Instagram, right? So like, what about the influencers on Depop? What about the influencers on like, well, Grails isn't like super personal, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it could work on other platforms, you know, or like Bump, or like, like Facebook. Or
yeah,
like,
the only thing I'm worried about those other platforms though, like those are actually selling ads.
Yeah,
those are actually businesses, right?
Yeah.
And like, I don't see them like wanting to like collaborate with other businesses.
I can see that. Like, shout out for shout out. You do that on Instagram.
Yeah, okay,
so,
yeah,
like,
no,
why,
definitely.
Why couldn't you do it on Depop or Grailed or wherever else? You know what I mean?
No, that's so
obviously it's not going to be to the same
like caliber, like go buy clothes from these guys instead of us.
Yeah, it's not going to be the same caliber. It's going to be more so like a mutual kind of like mutual agreement between like whatever they do for us, we'll do for them. But I think it could still work on different platforms, and it would just broaden our reach. So why wouldn't we do that?
And it's crazy too, because like that whole idea goes back to what we were initially doing with selling, right? Because before we're only focused on selling on 2 different platforms, and now we sell on maybe like 10 different platforms, right?
Yeah.
So now we're spreading the risk so much more, and again, consistency and volume. It's like, why don't we use that same mentality with everything we do? We saw that it worked in the selling aspect, or would it not work in the collaboration and influencer aspect as well too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I really like that you brought that up and everything. And it's kind of crazy too, because like every system that we have is really transferable into like another process that we're trying to create or implement, you know?
Yeah.
So that's always really cool and exciting or whatever, you know? Speaking about expanding as well, we're actually finally working towards formally releasing our female line.
Yeah.
It's right now in the works. We're really organizing everything right now.
We're in the very early stages. Not like very early,
I'd say so.
Yeah, like we're in the early stages of it. We're like past the like idea stage. Yeah. So that's good. That's exciting. I think at the end of the day, we basically just ended up looking at our demographics and our sales, and obviously we sell like men's clothing, but we found that a lot of the people that were buying our stuff online and like especially at events, a lot of the times aside from like sneaker events, were females. So we wanted to find a way to not only provide, you know, good quality clothing that they already like, but to cater to that market a little bit more. So do you want to break the news or should I?
We can break it. It's your business too.
So we decided to collaborate with a local artist. She's very, very talented. She does a lot of like reworking of vintage clothing, vintage tees, streetwear, sportswear, all that sorts of stuff. So we're working with her to kind of do a little
like a line, almost a line.
Yeah.
Probably like 30-40 pieces.
30-40 pieces, specific looks, specific one-of-a-kind items for all of you. So yeah, we're really excited about that. And I think it's going to go really well.
I know it's going to go really well because like one, we know the market and we've done our research to understand what people are really looking for.
Yeah.
And the thing that really makes me excited too is like the collaboration aspect. You know what I mean? We're trying to bring value to another up and coming business person, and they're also bringing value with us as well too, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's sometimes that's what I think, like sometimes a lot of up and coming businesses have an issue with expanding, is because they're not willing to give something up to gain something more in the long run, you know? Because there have been businesses that we've hit up before and be like, hey guys, like, let's try to collaborate with each other, let's try and figure something out. They're like, no, I'm okay, I'll do fine or whatever, which they probably most likely will.
Of course.
But like, it always helps when like you have a community setting where everyone is like helping and helping each other out and everything, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And the crazy thing too about like the women's line before was like, we slowly started to like get women's pieces over the last like 4 months.
Yeah.
So we kind of like saw what was working and what wasn't.
I remember the first women's item that I picked, like strictly women's, not like unisex, like just strictly women's. It was like this velvet. Remember that?
The dress?
Yeah.
Oh, that was nice. That was really, really
this
nice.
like black velvet dress, it like buttoned all the way down. Shout out to whoever bought it. I hope you're enjoying it. But like honestly, it made me doubt like expanding into women's stuff with more like veracity, because like that thing took so long to sell, and I loved it. Like I thought
so nice.
I thought it was so nice. Like I pictured it on, like it was kind of like a tall girl dress. Like it wasn't a short girl dress, so it wouldn't look good on me. You know, there's a difference.
Yeah, there's a huge difference.
Yeah, like it was a tall girl dress, and then this tall girl, she bought it, and I think she tried it on. It looked amazing on her. But yeah, I did doubt myself for a bit, because I was like, crap, like why isn't this selling? But it just takes time.
Yeah,
so
it's trial and error.
I'm happy we did try it out, and I'm happy other like women's type of stuff worked for us. So
yeah, most definitely. And I think this is gonna allow us to open ourselves so much more to the market. Because from what I remember, when it comes to like shopping and clothing, women are usually 70% of the market, and guys are 30%. You know what I mean? So for us to be like expanding into this direction, it's a huge step, but I believe it's like the right step for our business as well too, right? Because from what I've noticed in the vintage world anyway, is that it's really male dominated in terms of like the new up and coming vintage, like the 1990s vintage to like 2000s vintage. It's really male dominated, you know what I mean? So like it's nice that we're gonna be like exposing this now to like a huge female demographic. So I think it's gonna be nice, man. It's kind of nerve wracking though, because like you hope that people like your taste and it works well and everything.
People have liked our taste thus far.
Yeah, no, most definitely. But I think like working with the seamstress that we're gonna be working with, it makes it so much easier, because she's been doing this as well too, right?
And it's like she has ideas that we don't necessarily have, and like vice versa, you know, both bring it to the table and collaborate and make something really cool. That's the whole idea about like teamwork and group work and like building on ideas together. Like you have so many heads to pull from, and it helps you create something even better than, you know, as individuals you could have imagined.
No, most definitely. And even speaking on that, do you ever think that like maybe, because I remember when we went to New York, right? And like one of our plugs, he was like, oh, I thought you guys were like a bigger team. And like we took that as like the biggest compliment. We're like, oh no, it's only you and I. Like there's no way. Do you ever think that maybe we should add like a third or fourth person onto the team?
I think when it gets there, because like
even like what is it when it gets there? Like what is it?
I just think we would know. Like I think when like orders are like too much for like both of us to handle, when like certain, when it just becomes too much for us to handle, and right now it is a lot, but I think like we're still at the point where we're managing it, we can handle it. But I think once it gets to that point where it's like, okay, like we have like this number of orders coming in every single day, like we need help with it, I think we'll know when we know.
Yeah, I think it's crazy too, because like for us to add someone on, in my mind, it's like we're either adding someone on because we can't get enough done, or there's too much to do. You know what I mean? And I don't think we're at either stage right now, you know what I mean? I think we're at a nice, like, calm, consistent pace, and we're slowly building the brand, slowly.
And I think like the next, like we took the next level just now. Like the next level would be like you quitting your job.
Yeah.
Because like it was kind of getting to the point where it was like, I can't work full time, you can't work full time, and still have the time to do this. Well, we could, but it would be difficult in terms of like picking and stuff. Like, remember how we were talking? We're like, oh, we're probably gonna have to hire someone to just pick for us.
Yeah,
you know?
It's so crazy, and look what happens at the end of it.
Yeah.
But it's crazy though when you think about it though, because like we were doing Cloud on Cold, maybe let's say like 2.5 hours, 3 hours a day between the both of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like we were actually just like generating more money than my full-time job up to this point. So it kind of made sense. Imagine if we actually put like a solid 8 hours a day into this.
Yeah.
The potential is like It's so far reaching, right?
And I think like there's like that, like, how am I trying to say? There's that feeling of anxiety, but at the same time, like, greatness doesn't come from comfort. Like, greatness comes from like pushing yourselves and being anxious and being nervous and feeling uneasy. Like, it doesn't come from just sticking to your everyday routine. You know what I mean?
And it's crazy too, because like I was telling you, like, like making this decision over the last 2 weeks or so, I knew that I wanted to do it, but I felt this like uneasiness, this uncertainty, and then I realized like that's where success is. Success isn't in comfort. It isn't in knowing what's gonna come next. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's nice to know that like this can go really, really, really bad or really, really, really well. And like that's the way that we've been able to like systematically maintain our business. I think it has no way but to go is up.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like, it depends on us. Like, there's nobody else, like, no one's gonna come in and be like, oh, sorry, Johnnel, like, we're gonna have to lay you off from Clarendon Co. Like, no one's gonna be like, oh, sorry, Johnnel, like, we found someone to do your job better.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, it depends on us whether we are successful or not.
Yeah.
And, like, I know me, like, they're, like, not being successful isn't an option. And same for you. So, like, at the end of the day, like, I'm anxious, I'm nervous, but it's, like, it's an excitement. It's not, like, it's not a fear, it's an excitement for what's gonna come next, because I know it's gonna come.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think that's one thing we really gotta sit down after too, is just that like we have our business plan down already, but I think we should like revive it, just because like some things that we want to do in our first year haven't happened yet.
But like
some things
that's
that we
our
want
fault.
to do within our 5th year already happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But we've been saying that.
Yeah, but like that's the way business is, right? People think there's a timeline to business, which there generally is, but it doesn't fit necessarily your timeline or like your next step.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't always fall into place the way you planned it.
Yeah, like some things may happen faster, some things may happen later, but you just kind of have to be prepared for it.
Yeah, and I think that like I know that we have like a really good head on our shoulders, and like we'll just be prepared for what comes next. You know what I mean? And that female line is next, and we're gonna kill it.
Yeah.
We're definitely gonna kill it.
I'm excited.
I'm really excited, man. It's nice too, because like just to see where we initially were when we first started this business, guys. We literally went from having maybe 20 to 30 products at home. Now we're at maybe like 400 to 500 pieces.
I think more than that.
Easily.
Possibly.
So it's nice just to like see the system that we created and how it's actually been able to consistently work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one system that we've also been able to create was creating new content. And I'm really, really excited about the new content that we're creating. Because I remember Gary Vee, shout out Gary Vee, thank you so much. Without you, we would never be close or even halfway up to this point. And don't be afraid to learn from people, guys. Like, go to YouTube and go to Google and Google someone that's in your field or close to that field and just copy them. That's essentially what we did. We copied what Gary Vee did, we listened, and it's been working very well. One thing Gary Vee did say was, do a podcast, you know? And then also what he also said was that like the cell phone is now the TV. A lot of the videos that we do consume is gonna be, a lot of the video content we do consume is gonna be on our cell phone. So it's nice that we're actually becoming like a TV station where we're gonna have like 3 different TV shows essentially, you know?
Yeah.
So the first guys, this is another exciting news too. I'm giving you guys beer gems right now. So of course we have our podcasts, which you guys all watch. Well, the 20 of you. Thank you guys. Shout out to you.
We appreciate you.
Definitely appreciate you. We have our podcast. Then we're going to be having this next segment. It's going to be called Hidden Gems. It's going to be really short, anywhere from like 3 to 5 minutes. And it's going to be like little tips, hints, or information that we do for our business on an everyday basis that really help us out.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's going to be on every Wednesdays at 8 o'clock.
It's kind of like our podcast, but just less of the relationship stuff and kind of just scrunched down to give you like useful information, essentially.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
And then the last segment that we're going to have is going to be called The Drop.
The drop.
And so basically what The Drop is, it's going to be previewing a bunch of pieces that we are gonna be dropping on our website that we've gathered the previous week. So it's gonna be nice because the drop is gonna allow us to really take about like 2 to 3 minutes to explain the clothing, to really go over it in fine details. And I think that's really important. When I used to work at Club Monaco back in the day, I'd always love like sitting down, well not sitting down, like talking to a client and letting them know like, hey, this is our new piece, the type of cotton it is, how you would wear it. Because I think a lot of the times when customers can see like the owners have such type of confidence within the clothing, that makes them so much more comfortable.
And I think like that's also why people like buying vintage, because every piece has a story. Like this shirt has like a rip over here, like a stain over there. You know what I mean? So like it's like, oh, like where did that come from? Like what had it happen? I don't know if people think that deep into it, but like even if it's like an old shirt from like 1993 or something, it's like who wore this? Or we got these like really cool
military Navy shirts.
Yeah, is it US Navy?
Yeah, US Navy.
Yeah, US Navy shirts. They're really really cool, and like they're all stained up and all ripped. Like part of me is like, is this blood? Like,
did someone dye this?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like not dye, but like it kind of looks like blood, to be honest. Like it's kind of gross, but it's also kind of cool because it's like this shirt has like a story and history, and it went through life and it went through a journey, and now it's here. Like it's just kind of cool to me.
Yeah. Remember, sorry to totally flip the whole thing. So remember when we wanted to do a TV show where it's like it tells the backstory of a piece of clothing?
Yeah.
So like let's say that was blood.
Yeah.
And you would tell the whole backstory, like how the blood happened and how it occurred and everything.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool because like we create these stories with the clothing, and it's nice because like you just don't know where they came from, how they got there. Yeah. What I love seeing is like a really dope like Nautica or Tommy Hilfiger sweater, and be like, yo, like this person has no idea what this is worth at. Yeah. Now for them to throw it away now, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's beautiful just to know that like vintage is all about nostalgia, and that's such an important tool for everyone because everyone wants to remember the good times and everyone wants to remember like the way things were and everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure.
So that's definitely a cool thing. And also speaking about like popular brands like Polo, Tommy Hilfiger and everything, one thing that's really popular nowadays in vintage is that people will resell bootlegs. And bootlegs are something that can be very profitable for you. Yeah. But from the beginning of our business, we've always said that that's something we're gonna stay away from.
We don't do bootlegs. It's just a little bit tricky for us just because we sell high-end streetwear as well, which obviously is 100% authentic. So we don't want to blur the lines between like what is real and what is fake. We don't want people to be buying vintage and thinking that could possibly be fake too. You know what I mean? Like we just want to keep it 100% clear and, you know, concise. There's lots of other businesses out there that do sell bootlegs, and obviously they clearly label it and it's fine, but like just for us personally, like we just don't want there to be any confusion. So that's why we just stay away from them.
Yeah, and I think one reason why bootlegs are so popular though is because like the quality of clothing back in the 90s was a lot better, and it's kind of crazy because the bootleg quality is like sometimes better than today's current quality.
Yeah.
So like that's why they've been able to stand the test of time. Like you have a 20-year-old bootleg.
Yeah.
If it was a bad quality, like it wouldn't be around or anything. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I feel like a lot of people who wear bootlegs, it's not like they're trying to like trick anyone.
No. I don't think it's a part of the culture.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
definitely a part of the culture.
It's not like, oh, I'm gonna buy like a fake Tommy Hilfiger and try to pretend that it's real. Like,
no.
I don't think anyone's really doing that. It's more so just like they actually want a bootleg Tommy Hilfiger. You know
Yeah.
So.
And it's fine. It's something that is sought after because we have this little segment on our Instagram where you guys can follow us picking, and if we do find a bootleg, we buy it, but we don't sell it. The first person to DM us gets it for free.
Yeah.
And I think that's a nice incentive just for our clients to show like, hey guys, like you guys know the integrity of our business. You guys may want these items. Unfortunately, we can't sell them to you because it's against our policy. But if you want it for free,
take it.
Yeah, more than definitely we'll give it to you, and we'll ship it to you for free.
Yeah.
Because you know what I mean? But it's cool though, because like for us not selling bootlegs, it allows us to have like another environment to communicate with our audience, and our audience communicate with us.
And also bring value. Like we're giving something away for free. Like who doesn't want free stuff?
Like I love free stuff.
Love free stuff. I took a free water bottle for my Uber today. Thank you.
Love a free. But I think it's gonna be interesting just going forth and everything, just with the business. We have a bunch of changes coming around. And it's crazy because like you guys have heard us talk about these things over and over and over again. And to see us finally just be implementing everything, it's exciting, man.
It's so
Yeah,
exciting.
it's really exciting because I think for a business to grow and expand, you guys, we have to have like, not drastic, but consistent changes for something to happen, you know what I mean? For instance, like if you're gonna work out and you're not gonna change your diet, you're not gonna lose weight and you're not gonna gain weight. You're just
Yeah.
gonna stay exactly where you
Or
are.
if you're trying to learn how to swim, but you never set foot in a pool, you're
Like,
never
you know-
gonna learn how to swim.
Like, exactly. So it's nice for us to actually go forth and like we're honest with ourselves. We knew
Yeah.
what we could and couldn't do. For instance, like we have this other segment that has implemented called Old Fashioned, and initially what we wanted to do was more so have like it to be a video content. But Claude had the ingenious idea was like we read articles. Why don't we just turn Old Fashioned into one of our article segments as well? Like, you know, so it's nice how we're still able to be dynamic and true to the company.
It's just one, it's variety, and two, like I'm playing on my strengths. Like I'm better behind a computer than I am in front of a camera.
That's my job, guys. That's my job.
Yeah, that can be your job. So I was like, you know what? Let me just play to my strength. I'll write a little here, write a little there. Bam, boom, done. Like I'm not trying to pretend to be you. 'Cause I'm not.
And I don't pretend to be you, like, you know, you're a keyboard warrior. So, you know, which is really good. So, do you think there's any last words you'd like to add in before we get up on out of here?
No, I think I'm good. I'm just excited. That's all.
Yeah, guys, you guys are gonna see a lot of new changes coming forth in the next like 3 to 4 months and everything. We've already started them, so keep a lookout. And if you guys ever have any questions, like please hit us up in the DM, send us some messages. I think it's really important to give us value, to give you guys value. So if you guys ever have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. We'll love to answer. And any way we can help, please let us know. Guys, please don't forget to like and share so we know that you care. And until next time, peace.